Hey, Will Terry here. I'm going to talk to you about copyright law today. First off, I am not a lawyer, so this is a disclaimer. Um, you can't hold me accountable for any of the information that I'm about to give you. So what's it worth? One of the misconceptions about copyright law is that you don't own your copyright unless you register it, and that's just not true. You actually own your copyright when you create the artwork. So just by the fact of creating artwork, you own the copyright to it. And someone else, in order to actually own that copyright, would have to prove otherwise. And that'd be really hard to do. I mean, they'd have to have sketches, and they'd have to have, maybe years of work. And I think you're hearing my dog in the corner. Um, so you own the copyright. And you don't need to put a little circle and a C in the corner. In fact, that kind of makes you look more amateurish. So yeah, don't do that. So you, by making a piece of artwork, you own the copyright. Now also, I'm going to direct you to, for more information and to get questions answered, the U.S. Copyright Office has a really good website, which surprised me. Really good help there. If you go to copyright.gov/help and then go to the FAQ section, they have like any question that you could ever have, and they'll answer it there. What I'm making this video for mostly is to give you my opinions on whether you should register or not register your copyright. Okay, and so another thing that I did for this little video blog post or vlog post is I polled people on Facebook in a professional illustrators group, and I polled about 100 friends on my email list that are professional illustrators. And of the 96 people that got back to me, or that commented either on Facebook or sent me an email, 3 of them have registered their copyright, or have registered copyrights for artwork. It sounded like maybe only one of the 3 does it regularly. So like everything that they produce, they register with the Copyright Office. And basically what you do, what that means to register with the Copyright Office, and I'm not going to get into details because again you can go to their website to get like all that, but basically you take copies of your work, like color copies, digital copies, whatever, and you can send them in electronically, or you can send them in by mail. And I believe that even if you do it electronically, you're going to have to send, it made it sound like you have to send a physical copy in eventually to finish that registration off. If they're unpublished works, you can do it in a group for $35, so you can register a whole bunch of artwork. And if they are, if they're published works, then you're going to have to do them individually, and you have to fill out a form for each one, and it can get expensive and it can get time consuming. And so there's that. And then now for children's book illustrators, your publisher will take care of the copyright. So if you're doing work for a book and it gets published, you don't have to worry about it. Your publisher is going to take care of that. If you're doing something for an ebook or an app on your own, that's going to be up to you to do that if you want to. Now, I have personally never registered a copyright, and I am so happy that I haven't, because I've done over 2,000 different assignments for different companies in the last 20 years, and I've never seen an infringement of my work. So I've never had to pay $35 times however many times I would have had to register work. But more importantly, I think for me, I haven't had to spend the time to fill out the paperwork, to make copies, to get stamps, get envelopes, send the stuff in, and then when I get my copyright back, make sure that I'm filing it and making sure that I know where it is in case. Now, why, if you already have a copyright when you create a piece of art, why would you need to register it? Well, the reason to register it is simply because it kind of gives you a better footing in a court of law. So you can still defend your copyright in a court of law without registering it, but if you register it, it actually qualifies you to receive statutory damages from a judge. So a judge could say, you were damaged X amount of dollars, and you might get an award for the actual copyright infringement in the first place, but on top of that, he could say, for pain and suffering, or for whatever reason he decides or she decides, It could be much more than that. It could be a little bit more. It might not be anything. Now, one of the reasons why I don't register my copyright is simply because I feel that if someone wants to take my work, they're not going to typically be a large publisher or a large company. Large companies didn't get large by stealing other people's stuff. And large companies are the ones that have money. So if I see my stuff infringed upon out there, I mean, if I'm infringed upon by someone else taking my stuff, they're probably going to be a small company. If they're a small company, they probably don't have any money. If you're small, it's very easy to hide from the courts. And I'll tell you an example of that in a second. But if they're a large company, if they were a large company, now they have a lot of money to defend themselves in court, and I'm not going to be able to compete that way. It's just the way our system is. It seems unfair sometimes, and in another video on contracts that you might find down on my video channel or on my blog, I talk about a friend who had a problem. A friend from Russia who couldn't exercise his contract after spending $20,000 trying to defend it in court, even though he was completely in the right. A black and white case because the company decided to outspend him. Likewise, I had a friend who is a landlord, has been to court quite a few times, and he has so many stories from himself and from other people that he knows in that business where they've received judgments. He's gone to court, received a judgment. The guy that my friend won the case, and on the way home was stopping at the bank to put a lien on the guy's wages, and he had emptied out his bank account before he could get there. So on the way home from court, the guy ran to his bank and emptied it out. And if someone is self-employed, if it's another artist you're trying to sue, good luck, because you can't attach their wages. There's no way you can, if they don't have a steady job, you can't, there's no way to get that money. So even though you might receive a judgment in court, good luck. Now, for me, I'm in this business to paint, to make pretty pictures, to have fun, and the last thing I want to do is spend a lot of time and effort going after what will probably end up being a little bit of money. Now, if I look at the amount of money that I've saved over the years, the amount of time that I've saved, the amount of headache and hassle, I feel like I'm way up. And if someone were to infringe upon me tomorrow, I'd probably still be way up on time and money. It's the same reason why I don't buy extended warranties. I think it's funny that when you go into the store and you buy a really nice TV, they go, "This is the best TV ever, you should buy this." And as soon as you get it, they're like, "Oh, this thing might break. It's horrible. You know, you're going to need to get a warranty for that." I don't buy any warranties, and so I'm like self-insuring myself so that if I have a TV that goes bad or something, I'm still up on my money because I didn't spend all the money to insure all the other things I bought. So I have a lot of, anyway, it's the same kind of thing there. I will read you real quick the thoughts from a fellow illustrator, Justin Gerard. He also contributes regularly to the Muddy Colors blog, and he wrote, let's see, "I have never registered anything of mine or gotten anything officially copyrighted. I have always kind of meant to. It's not really that hard. I just never did." And see, I got a lot of people that wrote stuff like that back, and which makes me think, well, there must not, we as illustrators must not feel that there's that much benefit, or we would do it, you know. And everybody kind of feels that, well, I should do it. But nobody does it. Well, only a few people. So, and then he goes on to say, "And I have even had people steal my stuff before. Mostly it's just taking low-res images off the internet and either altering them or printing them out. Some of them are funny, some are not. I had a guy last year from Romania who actually went through the trouble of erasing my signature and putting his own on a piece, then took all the step-by-step images which were on my blog for that piece and posted them on his own blog as though he did them. But then the art community got wind and people went crazy, and he got a lot of angry letters from people familiar with my work, and in the end he took it all down and apologized." See, we're living in a global marketplace right now. So it's like, are you going to go and sue somebody in Romania or in India or somewhere else? I mean, I do have a friend who didn't respond, who I sent this to, who had his stuff infringed on in India. what are you going to do if someone infringes on you in India? You registered your copyright, big deal. What are you going to do? You're going to go to India? I mean, I don't know anything. I don't have money to go and fight somebody in another country, and so it just seems kind of silly to me. And then the fact that, yeah, if you're doing good work and people are infringing on you, other people are going to help you police it. I think that's a great example right now. He goes on and gives a bunch of other good ones. A lot of people just said no, flat out no. Now, I did have probably 9 people, I think I counted up, that said that they do know that people in licensing regularly copyright their work because that's an area that gets infringed on a lot. I don't do any licensing work, so I'm not an expert on that one, but it sounds like if you're in licensing, it's a good idea to do that. I'm not saying it's a bad idea to copyright your work at all. And for the people who have done it, for the few people on this list that have copyrighted their work, if it gives them peace of mind, if they sleep better at night, I say more power to you, because getting a good night's sleep is a good thing. I sleep fine without it. Let's see, there's a few other things I wanted to say. One other thing I want to report on is that of these 96 people that responded, the people that did know someone that had been infringed on, I find it interesting that none of them reported that any of them went to court, and none of them received a judgment. So to me, it's like I've tapped into, if I look at 95 people and I have them tapping into all their friends, we're probably talking maybe a few thousand illustrators that people know, and no one has a story of anyone going to court and winning a judgment. I think to me it's a waste of time.